Nigeria's last annual budget, which is obviously a joke. I don't think anybody believes that these are real. But for me, it really just tells how much audacity that these persons have, because they've basically been allowed, somehow, some way, to run wild and to run free with the lives of Nigerian citizens for the last long while. So they can play around with lives. They can take 16 people and do, as they like, make frivolous, demands that even, where else would you hear about a 40 trillion naira demand for 16 people that were kidnapped? No, you wouldn't hear of that. Nigeria doesn't have 40 trillion naira. Nigeria doesn't even have money to fund its own budget because of 40 trillion naira to give to bandits. So it's obviously at a stage where they see it as a joke. And of course, that includes those who are even reporting the story. They see it as a joke that, you can demand 40 trillion. And of course, I'm also seeing reports of Sheikh Gumi. I'm not sure if it's the same story, but I think it's the same one, offering to negotiate on behalf of the federal government to, of course, mediate between the bandits and the federal government. It's such a joke. And it's mostly because we failed. There's no other way to, explain how much we have failed to protect Nigerian lives and property, how the Nigerian government has failed. Nobody is going to argue against it, that the Nigerian government and security agencies and every institution of government has completely failed to protect Nigerian lives and property. And that's why we are where we are today. The people who have kidnapped 300 school children in Borno, I believe, would demand 100 trillion naira. Or maybe even more. I don't know which other figures. Maybe 400 trillion naira will be their demand at this point to get those people back. But it's once again, it's the audacity that they have because they've been allowed to run free and run wild. There's nobody challenging them. Every now and then you hear about the Nigerian army, attacked, a bandit hideout. 300 were killed, 20 were killed. But it's such a joke because you can't keep doing that and you still see absolutely no change. There's no improvement in the security situation. They still kidnap at will. They still hold on to territories. They do these things freely. I saw a video on social media, on X, a couple of days ago of an attack, a just concluded attack, and they were on their motorcycles holding children that they had taken. It was such a heartbreaking story. One of the children was crying. They're giving the child water, but on the floor you could see, the dead bodies of people who had just been murdered. And these are Nigerian citizens. We have failed, and we have failed in ways that we can't even describe it. And there's nothing else, and I don't think that there's anything else that should be topmost priority. There's no conversation that should happen in the country today that should not be about these people that have been kidnapped. The Senate president, the vice president, the president himself, governors, there's no conversation that is more important than that. But instead, we're still playing politics.
Even
we're still playing politics with Nigerian lives
well.
at this point in time.